Hello everyone. So today the video was done in two stages. When I arrived to site there was membrane and a stabilization mesh being delivered to the site, and loaded on to the small pickup style truck to be taken down to the actual breach site. The mesh, the membrane, which are the blue rolls, that's Terram, and that's like a anti-weed membrane, and it also separates the stone from the earth. And then the mesh is Tensar SS20, which is a geogrid. And it's used to enhance strength in areas and structures of roads, pavements, working platforms, reinforced foundations, and many more applications. Basically, it saves stone, if you like, because this supports the stone, holds it all together, and you then don't need to use as much stone to make a good road, if that makes sense. If you search on Google for them, you can get all sorts of information and documents on it, but that's basically what they are. So there's Terram and the Tensar, which are two different things, but both work hand in hand with each other, and we'll see them towards the end of the video. Obviously quite a lot of it because the track's quite long. So then a flight over towards the lift bridge with the drone. We can see people, there's quite a lot of people on site. Again, when we were there we saw and spoke to several of the workers, all very friendly. They were testing the water out of the sediment trap to make sure it hasn't got too much sediment in, and they were saying that they're limited to 20 litres a second, and they are, like we said in the last video, they are now pumping overnight as well. I think they said there's 12 million litres they think on the flood field. Considerable amount really, but it is going down pretty quickly, to be fair. We're going over to the incline. Thank you for everyone who's bought me a coffee, supported me with that, all the super thanks, and thanks very much for everyone who's subscribed. Very much appreciate both forms of support. You can see here the widening the ramp up to the road slightly, which is what we said in the last video. It looked very narrow, so that's being widened for access, if you like, to help access. The ramp is very, very close to being done here. There's a roll of Terram up there and a roll of the mesh, the Tensar mesh, ready to be put down. Obviously a bit more digging needed. I believe tomorrow they're starting to have stone delivered to stone the track up. I think I may get a clip of that tomorrow, but I may not, because I'm actually got a very busy day at work tomorrow. I'll try and get some pictures later on of what they've got up to. So yeah, the ramp to the road looks like it'll be at full width and stoned up. We'll have a look from the other direction, and you can see in this view to the left hand side of the access road, there's a sweep in. Well, I presume that's because trucks will be sweeping in off the road. They can't have quite as much of a sweep on the right hand side because there's a road sign in the way. Whether that will get removed, I doubt it. And the road is quite wide, so hopefully they will be able to sweep out onto the road safely. Obviously we'll be getting a lot of wagons and lorries and heavy vehicles. We've done an excellent job with this small 9-ton excavator, and I can't commend CRT enough. They've put a fantastic amount of work into this site so far in such a small amount of time, really. There's lots of comments saying it's taking too long, things do take time, and in all honesty they've done a huge amount of work, probably more than we're aware of, because there's a lot behind the scenes to be dealt with. So all thanks to Canal and River Trust. Please do support them. They've got a unbelievably hard and expensive task with very limited funding, to be fair. As you can see, the amount of work that's going into this is huge, and we haven't even got on to the repairs yet, so we will see more and more as time goes on. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell for the future updates. Very much appreciated. And this is quite a lengthy video, but there is some pictures at the end which are worth seeing. I got over the flu a couple of weeks ago, and now I've caught a cold off my partner, Angela, so very kind of her. So I'm expecting to sneeze halfway through this. Not doing very well for illnesses this year so far, but hopefully we'll get them all out of the way and not have any more problems later on in the year when the weather's better and we can do more work. Excuse me. So yeah, flying back now, just to have a look at the state of the flood water. You can see considerable amount of a drop in the water, which is excellent news. And to the right, coming down the towpath, you can see the pickup truck with more of the membranes and the mesh that we saw being delivered before. Not being delivered, but being put onto the pickup truck. It's now being brought down to the site. With this new access road, hopefully much larger vehicles will be able to deliver to site, which will save all this double handling of materials, which in itself takes a lot of time. Time's money, labour's money. So hopefully things will progress more efficiently soon. The site is kept quite secure even during the day with the harass fencing, which is good health and safety. Being a work site, obviously you don't want people walking around it willy-nilly. I did have a comment on the last video that they couldn't work out how large the lift bridge was. We'll see this pickup reversing over it in a moment, and that'll give you a good idea of scale of it. You wouldn't want a much bigger vehicle over it than this physically, width-wise. Obviously the 9-ton excavator's gone over it. I have seen similar bridges in Whitchurch where much larger vehicles, HGVs, have gone over them, so I guess they are strong. I do believe they're listed, or this one's listed, so I guess there is going to be a weight limit on it. I'm not sure what that is. So you can see the bridge isn't that big, really. So yeah, you can see they're reversing into the new compound, and they'll unload these, and there was more up at the top compound to bring down. This was the second half of the video. This was later on in the day, and you can see the two areas of the floodwater are nearly separated now. And I would think by tomorrow morning, if it's pumping all night again, which I think it is, they will be separated. So people are saying they will then pump a lot faster. Obviously you're only pumping one area, not both together, but towards the breach that is very, very deep. It's like 2.5–3 meters deep, so there is a lot of water in that other half to go. Considerable amount. Making good progress though, really good progress for a pump that's limited to flow. And it's limited to flow because of I think it goes to a treatment plant that's operated by Welsh Water, and they've limited the output of the pump, and I think CRT have gone to try and talk to them to see about increasing it. Pump's capable of much more, but they've said to leave it as it is. So it'll just have to take as long as it does. And just go over to the tide mark, or as one of my comments said in the last video, it's not a tide mark, it's a watermark. I think tide mark and watermark are both valid terms, to be fair, but you can see a huge drop in water since the pumping started. The culvert will be a long way down yet. You know, it's going to be 2 or 3 meters down, I would have thought, but we will keep an eye on that area. People have asked me to keep an eye on that area, so of course I will do. If any of you do want us to keep an eye on anything else, please do ask. Obviously, as I've said in previous videos, I like to respond to as many of the comments as I can. I certainly try to read them all. I find that really enjoyable. So please do continue commenting, taking part in the videos. We'll go over to the compound here. You can see behind the fenced off pumping area, you can see that's where they're storing the Terram and the Tensar geogrid rolls. You can see on the welfare hut there is solar panels on the roof. I think they have a generator built in, and there is a toilet round the back. I guess they're all things that are needed if there's people in them 24 hours a day, security. You can see there's considerable amount of Terram and the Tensar geogrid there. Heading over towards the road end of the access, you can see there has been one tree taken out, which you could have seen on the earlier part of the video. Just here you can see one riser of a manhole cover, which I'm zooming in on. I presume that's an old one that they've dug up, that concrete ring. I don't think that's a new manhole riser that they've removed. I presume they've just found that while digging. Motley collection of rocks, and then you can see some of the membrane and geogrid has been laid, ready for tomorrow, when I believe stone will be arriving. And obviously they will dump the first lot of stone on that area. It will be spread out and rolled in, and then I guess it'll be rolled in and then increased in thickness and rolled again. You can only do so much thickness and then compact it and then do another run of it. And also they will work into the site, so they'll make their own road, if you like, for the wagons to reverse onto, tip more stone as they go, work their way into the site like that. There'll be a huge amount of stone on this track throughout the length of it. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess, but I'm sure someone will know better than me. Please do comment. When you get a ton bag of stone or a 20-ton load of stone in a wagon, it doesn't go very far at all. And we can see the membrane there from the other direction. There's a manhole cover in the middle of it. It is all pegged down at the moment, I presume, to stop it blowing away. The pegs will obviously be taken out when the stone arrives. There's a better view here. Sorry about the break in audio, I had to just speak to someone. You can see all the pegs and the manhole cover there in the middle. Like I say, the pegs will be removed. I'm pretty sure that's there just to keep the geogrid in place. This video shows the depth of the cutting, and there is actually quite a nice gentle slope down to site now. And there we've got nearly 3 million litres pumped. So if there's 12 million litres on site, or so they think, we're a quarter of the way there. And that's a monumental point. And then flying back over towards the actual breach site. Now, with it being such a nice light and such nice weather, I know quite a lot of you like to see the view of the whole site, so we'll fly up to 120 meters, which is the limit, and we'll grab a look at the site. You can see the amount that the water has dropped, the tide mark or the mud mark or whatever you want to call it. We all have different terms. Spinning round, and I'll put a still picture in now of the whole site. It's good to compare these pictures from day to day, and to go back and look again. Always nice to see. Yeah, so thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.